Welcome back to Outside Xbox at E3 2013. I'm here with Mike Channel, who you may remember quite likes cars. So, Mike, The Crew is a game with cars in it. What did you think?
I thought it was excellent, actually. I actually got 20 minutes of solid hands-on with the game, played a couple of events, did a lot of the free roam. So we initially thought this game was by Reflections, the guys who made Driver San Francisco. Yeah. Actually, it's a French developer called Ivory Tower. Now, they're a bunch of guys who struck out after the first Test Drive Unlimited and went out on their own and have been working for 5 years on this game. Seriously? So the reason Test Drive Unlimited 2 was kind of underwhelming was because I think a lot of the team had just left, essentially, and this is kind of the logical progression. This is essentially Test Drive Unlimited 2, as you would have it. So it's the entirety of the North American, United States of America, 14 cities, around 14 cities, and you can drive the whole thing. So there are roads in between all the different areas, giant free roam, and again, like Test Drive Unlimited, you've got that thing where it's kind of seamless multiplayer, so you'll be driving along and the game will populate it with the area around you with up to 8 other people. So you'll be cruising along and you'll see other guys going past who are other players, which is something that no game really since Test Drive Unlimited has done. We thought Forza Horizon might do that, they didn't go for that in the end. So that's really, really exciting.
I guess the main thing people are going to want to know is how do the cars feel to drive?
So they're quite light. I think definitely very close to the kind of Test Drive Unlimited handling model. So they're very responsive, but there's not a great feeling of weight to the cars, which in a way is kind of good if you're kind of a novice. You've got to be carving through traffic. There's obviously traffic all over the roads. So being able to kind of nip around without the car swinging, pendulum from one side to the other is going to be handy, but there's a degree of, it's very much an arcade game rather than a simulation. I don't think anyone's going to be sort of coming to this for an accurate driving simulation.
So what's the actual scale of the world? I mean, you say it's North America, but I mean, not actually one-to-one scale, right?
Right, so I asked the classic question, how long does it take to drive coast to coast? They're going to have some really powerful cars in here, like proper racing cars, like Le Mans-style cars he was talking about, and maybe even some open-wheel things. And he said with the fastest car on the most direct route, widest roads, things like that, it's going to be at least 45 minutes to get from New York to LA or San Francisco or whatever they've got on the West Coast. So it's a big old world. Adding to that, all of the off-road areas are drivable as well. So the kind of customization you saw at the Ubisoft conference, that's going to be crucial if you want to take your car off-road, because you need to jack it up, put big fat tires on it, add bull bars and stuff. And there's like wildlife. I saw like foxes running around and things like that, which was kind of cute. And there are these big mountains and off-road areas. So that's a really, really cool thing. What's really cool about it though is that kind of space, my instant concern, and you got this with a game called Fuel that Codemasters released a while ago, you get a huge world, but there's nothing to do in it. Now, apparently they've been working with Reflections, because Ubisoft likes to mix up its studios so they can help each other out. Reflections have been working on kind of little activities that just appear as you're driving around the world. So you'll be driving past, there'll be a little blue triangle icon, and you can kind of stop in that icon. As soon as you stop in it, it activates the thing. And it'll be just like a 15-second challenge. So one of the ones I played was kind of trying to stay within a line, so like a racing line around the route, and do it in the fastest possible time. So there's a ton of these challenges. Everywhere you are, there's just a load of them around. So you'll get big races and things, and I did races, they played really well, traffic there, and they add the big chevrons to add a route. So I played some stuff in like New York and Miami, both of which look great, and they're largish areas. But it's just so cool. There's that moment where you're driving through New York and then you kind of head out onto the freeway and you're out in Long Island and it starts to get more countryside and things like that. Just the possibilities of that giant world are great. And actually, all of the events can be tackled in co-op as well. So you and up to 3 buddies can play a race, and whereas if you were playing on your own, the objective would be to finish first. If you're playing with 4 buddies, you just need to lock out the front of the grid. So that's kind of cool. A lot of potential. It doesn't maybe look as arresting as some of the next gen stuff we've seen. It's certainly not as pretty as like Watch Dogs and things like that, but there's a long way to go. It's not coming out till 2014. So I'm hoping that even though it's a giant scale world, some of the countryside looks amazing, but I'm hoping even though it's a giant scale world, they'll be able to add those lighting effects and things just to bring it up to that level.
We've seen quite a few open world driving games at this particular E3. Do you think this is going to be the one that's going to come out on top?
I think it's certainly got the biggest world, right? And no one else has gone for that level of ambition. an entire country essentially. And from what I've seen, it's going to have that thing again that Test Drive Unlimited did that other racing games haven't done yet, which is that thing where you just get together with friends and cruise around. You're not doing a particular event or things. You're there in your personalized car, and you're hanging out with your friends and just driving from point to point. Let's go see New York, let's go see this landmark. I'm sure they'll have like Mount Rushmore and things like that, some real like American landmarks that you'll be able to see. And actually that car customization thing is going to be a big part. There's a companion app that you can access without the console needing to be on, so it's not like Smart Glass, it's a separate app where you can customize your vehicles and add liveries and do those like off-road modifications and things like that when you're just hanging out on your own. So you'll be able to stick flames on the car and make it pink and put zebra's print on it and things like that, so that's fun.
Excellent. So that's the crew down here on the show floor at E3 2013. Keep it locked to Outside Xbox for more from E3 all week.